Whether it's cars, comics, video games, or violins, there's a little geek in all of us. It's time to give your geek a voice. It's time for Geek Therapy. Here's your host, Johnny Hemberger.
Welcome to Geek Therapy Radio. Like you just heard Eric mention, I am Johnny Hemberger, your mental curator for this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon. Whenever you're listening to my show, if you're not listening live, quote unquote, since I do pre-record these shows, but if you're not listening as it airs on KPRC 950 AM in Houston at 12:06 AM, you might be listening to the podcast. And as a matter of fact, a lot of you are listening to it on the podcast. And even a few of you are going onto YouTube to watch each show, because sometimes I've got cool things to show you that I can only show you with a video camera. And try as I might to tap a cool new cell phone or something like that, a cool new toy to the microphone, I cannot put in your brain what it actually looks like. I can describe to my heart's content all the cool features of whatever I'm talking about, but you really should go to the YouTube channel, Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube, and subscribe there to get the full geek experience. So, that being said, I do appreciate it. I've got lots of listeners listening to the podcast, and they're increasing each week. So I'm very pleased about that. Thank you very much. Whatever you're using to listen to the podcasts, whether it's iTunes, which is super easy, the iHeartRadio app, which is super easy, Spreaker, it's super easy. I have an app on my Android called Pocket Casts, and that's how I listen to podcasts. So I have, Black Coffee Radio on there. I have What's on Tap Radio on there. I have all sorts of shows on there. Trailer Park Boys podcast, Mark Maron, who else? The Nerdist. I've got all those podcasts, and that's what I use to subscribe to podcasts. Whatever you're using, whatever app you're using, whatever your program you're using to listen to Geek Therapy Radio podcast, be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow it so that you get the notifications each week as the new Geek Therapy Radios come to your device. Anyways, I've got kind of a neat show lined up. It is a neat show. It's not kind of. I'm just going to tell you, it's not subjective. It is going to be an awesome show. And I'm going to start right off. Actually, first, let me tease you a little bit. At the end of the show, at the last segment, I'm going to end the show with some music from a local musician. And I hope to do that continuing on in the future, to showcase a lot of music from my listeners. So if you're a musician, if you record music, then get at me. Send me an email, geektherapy@iheartmedia.com, geektherapy@iheartmedia.com. You can also let me know on Facebook. That's a really cool way to do it. Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. You can go to my website, geektherapyradio.com, and contact me through there. But honestly, the easiest way is Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. So if you're a musician and you want your music showcased on my show, get lots of ears listening, lots of eyes looking on YouTube, even though if you don't have a music video, they're not going to see much. But anyways, I will put your song all over the place because it goes on the end of my show, and you will get all the more exposure, and I will be super excited to help you out in that way and hear what my listeners are making. I should do a show, or at least a segment. No, I'm going to do a show sometime entirely devoted to home recording. So if you're a musician and you're struggling with how come my recordings don't sound like professional recordings, what's the difference? What am I doing wrong? I'm going to do a whole show about that. Mic placement, EQing, compression, also, everything, mastering, all of that to help you get the most out of your equipment. And I'm going to do a little tease right now. You do not need thousands of dollars worth of equipment to sound professional. What you need first and foremost is talent and practice. That's going to get you 99.999% there. You can make amazing recordings in your bedroom or your living room with $200 worth of recording equipment and some old off-lease office Dell single-core Pentium 4 computer with 2 gigs of RAM that you can probably get for free at the dump. those computers are laying around everywhere. All I'm saying is you don't need much hardware to make good recordings. $100 interface, if that. $100 condenser microphone, if that. And any computer ever with a USB port. In some recording software, Audacity, Cakewalk Sonar. I say Audacity because Audacity's free. Cakewalk Sonar, Pro Tools. If you buy an audio interface for $100, it's going to come with software. It's going to come probably with Pro Tools or maybe a free version of Sonar or whatever. Reaper. There's a whole bunch of different recording softwares out there. But I'll do a show about how to get the most out of whatever recording equipment you have because it's about basics. It's about fundamentals. So if you have the talent and the passion and then you know the fundamentals, you can make great professional sounding recordings. So maybe you're there. Maybe you're one of those artists. Maybe you're a musician out there who wants to have your music showcased on my show. I'd love to do that. Go hit up Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. And while you're there, like the page. Don't just come drop off your music, which would be great, but also like the page. I would love to showcase music. So at the end of the show, I'm going to showcase a song from a local musician. His name is, Jaime, Jyme. His real name is James, but he has an album out there named Booster, and I'm going to get into all that information in the last segment. Let me touch on something, because I wanted to actually get into a ridiculous topic here in the first segment of Geek Therapy Radio, and that is Dubai. You all know that city in the Middle East. Dubai is a crazy city, just absolutely run by insane people, especially the Dubai Police Department. The Dubai Police, their patrol cars are Bentleys, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Mercedes SLSs, very fast 200 mile per hour cars. And you might think that seems a little ridiculous, and it kind of is. But Dubai is a very, very, very wealthy city, and lots of people drive very fast cars. So unfortunately, V8 Crown Victoria is not going to cut it. Or an Interceptor, or any of the usual American police cars can't keep up with a Lambo. So you need a Lambo to keep up with a Lamborghini, and that's what Dubai has. So it should come as relatively no surprise that the Dubai Police Department is going to start using hoverbikes to do patrols. A hoverbike is basically a quadcopter that a human being sits on. It is ridiculous. They are going to use the HoverSurf Scorpion 3s. Now, I suspect that this is purely a publicity stunt. It is far too dangerous. This technology is not proven. It's still in the prototype phase. It has not been tested and made safe and certified by any government, by any organization, but Dubai is demonstrating that they are going to use hoverbikes to do patrols. This will end badly. How can it not end badly? You are basically sitting in the middle of 4 blenders with your nice meaty legs. Prime targets for getting juiced. You know when you push a carrot or a piece of celery down in a juicer? That's what's going to happen to some police legs in Dubai. Unfortunately. I hope not. That's getting your legs cut off by the rotors are really the least of your worries flying around a hover bike. The biggest worry is the danger to the public. These blades are exposed, so you cannot just be cruising behind someone on a sidewalk because chop chop. That's going to not end well. But again, I suspect this is all just a publicity stunt, just get more attention on Dubai, which we could go on an entire segment of how ridiculous and unethical the very existence of Dubai is. In a nutshell, built by Indian slaves. Cost many Indian slaves their lives. Indian slaves from India and other places, but mainly India. That's how Dubai went from being just a strip of desert into one of the most powerful, most affluent cities on the face of the planet. Dubai scares me. How quickly it was built scares me. Anyways, that's it for this segment of Geek Therapy Radio. We'll be right back with more tantalizing topics. Why I want a crow as a pet. Why the new Microsoft Surface Book 2 is both awesome and stupid at the same time. And I don't suggest, well, I'm not going to say I don't suggest anyone buy it. It's really dumb. So we're going to talk about that. DJI is going to start tracking drones now. Why the new Aston Martin DB11 is dumb, is both cool and dumb, kind of like the Surface Book 2. But we'll get into that. Stay here right now for Geek Therapy Radio, which is coming up after the next couple of commercials. What a horrible outro. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to hear any commercials right now. We'll be right back instantly. So stick around. More Geek Therapy Radio to come. I'm Johnny Hamburger. Do not change that dial.